Ready? Okay, I'd like to call the May 15th meeting of the Unionville Town Board to order, and we'll start out with a salute to the flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. I'd like to add one thing to the agenda. I forgot to include the animal control report. And that will follow the library report. A motion to that effect.
I'll make a motion to add that.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Okay, minutes for 4/17 of 24. Motion to approve.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you. Okay, start out with the finance report here. In the general checking account, we have $1,301,088. General savings is $4,815. Miscellaneous receipts is $134,684. General money market fund is $103,290. General New York class is $2,563,963. General New York class ARPA is $510,826. For a total of $4,618,666. Highway checking is $705,523. Highway savings is $102,081. Highway money market is $40,260. Highway New York class is $68,795. And the New York class reserve is $145,253 for a total of $1,061,913 in highway, grand total of $5,680,579. Since the last meeting, I met with Dutchess County Civil Service to discuss some of the things in our handbook and our practices here. I've also spoken with a labor attorney about it as well, and I'm still working on putting together some revisions to bring forward at a future meeting. I heard a radio ad for Hudson Valley Balloon Festival today, so I figured it's a good time to mention again that will be held here at Time Moore Park, August 30th through September 1st. It's hosted by the Dutchess County Regional Chamber of Commerce. Their website is dcrcoc.org. And our residents are eligible for discounted tickets. Those must be purchased through our town clerk, so she can verify your residency, and she'll have more to say about that in her report. Also got a message from the Equestrian Center that they are hosting the 29th annual horse pull Saturday, June 1st, starts at 11 a.m. and runs through the afternoon, and inviting everyone to attend. It's a free family event, and it features genuine horsepower. Move on to the board member reports. Councilman Welsh.
All right, I've reviewed the situation on Blueberry Drive that we'll talk about later to see how things look from my perspective. And also updated myself on the procurement policy because I know we'll be discussing that later.
Hey, Councilman Carlini.
I just wanted to report back. I'm looking over the vouchers. I see Royal Carting did take off the fuel surcharge that I worked on making that happen. So that's saving us about $200 a month on that. I'm working on a few other cost saving methods that we could hopefully implement on some of the other vouchers that we have that we sign every month. So I'm working on some of those and hopefully report back by the next week. That's all I have.
Councilman Derlin.
I also just been working on that. Take a look at that procurement report, because I know we have to talk about that later. And thinking about the roof replacement as well, so I guess we'll talk about that in a bit too, but nothing much else.
Okay. Councilman Gibney.
been working with Peter and Mike down at the recycling center on a couple projects. I should have more information on that as we go forward.
All right. Town clerk report.
As you mentioned, the Balloon Fest tickets can be purchased in person only. If you're a Unionville resident, you must bring proof of residency. And you can pay cash or check, unfortunately not credit card, and the checks will be made payable to the Chamber Foundation. So anytime during regular business hours, anyone can come down and purchase those. So 5 so far. Also shredding day, again, Wednesday, June 5th. And if you want to be on the call list, because the way it works is the truck right now, I know arrives between 10 and 2. It's here for 1 hour. So if you want to be notified when the truck pulls in the parking lot, let me know and I will put you on that list. And lastly, I know Maggie's going to talk about it in her report, but I did attend the AARP defensive driving class and it's actually fun. So I encourage everyone else to participate if we have another one come up. That's all I have.
Highway superintendent.
Yes, we did, yes, we completed ditches, also the traffic paving coming up, we're scheduled to start paving, 15th of June. As the board is aware, some of the residents up on Blueberry, we found major issues up there. Blueberry has always had a water bleeding issue, intersection of the Mountain Road. We addressed that during us addressing that. We found that the pretty much the entire drainage system on Blueberry has failed and is failing. Our engineer will speak to what they found, but it's going to be a major project. Got several calls from residents up on Blueberry wondering what's going on. And it's just a matter of got a plan in place that we've got to implement the plan. So it could be a few months out that the latest. Questions, reach out to me.
Okay, thank you. Perfect timing, Tom. Once you grab a chair and come on up.
Thank you.
So why don't you start out with Blueberry Hill?
Ed asked our office to put together a proposal to help put together some plans and conceptual details and things like that to support the drainage replacement work. And including an initial inspection evaluation of the existing systems. He had one of his guys come out and help us open the frames and look inside the structures. I don't know if Ed already covered it, that a lot of those structures are falling apart. There's bricks falling in. They're kind of haphazardly made to begin with. And all the metal pipe, for the most part, that's in there are all rusted and rotted out at the bottoms. So there's very little chance of fixing that system. And the recommended replacement of the entire system in kind is about 7 or 8 catch basins and a bunch of about 18-inch pipe. I think if we put in plastic pipe to replace the existing steel pipe, we'll actually buy some more capacity out of the system. It'll be more efficient to pass the water. So we wrote a proposal for the evaluation, preparing concept drawings. Ed and I spoke about the level of detail we need for the concept drawings. We did feel it was necessary to do full survey with rims and inverts and great detail on the plans because we're more or less replacing stuff where it is. Should be an easier thing and should save the town some money by avoiding that survey and save a lot of time by avoiding that survey. We put together the proposal. I'm assuming you guys have all seen it. We outlined the numbers. These numbers are hourlies not to exceed. So if we can spend less time on the site and spend less time in general, we can only bill to the time we spend. Have any questions on that?
I had a question. I was up on Blueberry and I noticed there's some major gap between a lot of the catch basins when you get to like the middle of the road. Are you concerned about that at all? It looks like there's probably like a good 30-40 feet, I think, in one area, right? If I remember correctly on there.
You're talking about distance between.
Yeah,
catch
distance between
basins.
catch basins. Yeah, I just want to make sure that's all right. You don't have any
Yeah,
I
concerns
don't
with that?
think it puddles up there. I think it does work.
Yeah, we'd be looking for any experience with specific problems, we could try to address it, but I haven't heard or found of anything. They're averaging about 200 feet apart between the basins. And then most times there's a basin, there's one across the road, cross pipe coming in. It's not unusual to have that kind of spacing. The only time you would make it tighter maybe is if you had a lot of steep road, and you might want it closer to each other.
That's my only.
It should be addressed.
Okay.
That's what. Base.
So you've already put some perforated piping in to deal with that, and that'll tie into this system?
That actually, that's.
So, the worst case here is 5,200, and we have that in the engineering line.
Mhm.
So, I'd like to approve, having Tom go forward with this, so we can, go out and get quotes on work.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. Okay, want to move on to the roofs?
So for the roofs, I think this, you've seen this and we've talked about this before. We kind of,
Sent it to you guys, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
we've looked at the, Vanguard quote through tips, and we actually had the benefit of another quote from Tri-State, who doesn't have a cooperative contract right now, but has been on it before and was willing to get on it again. Tri-State was a little more money across the board, so we didn't spend a lot of time looking at that. The Vanguard quote included scraping and priming the vents on the roof area, removing the brick chimney to below the roof and closing up the opening, and removing and replacing the existing gutters. Those were options they included. We're only recommending to move forward with the brick chimney, removing that down below the roof line, because otherwise we'd have to fix the masonry on it. So since it's not in use, I think.
Yeah, it's not needed since we switched to.
So with that, then there's also, they included a unit price for, a decking replacement, where it's basically tongue and groove instead of plywood. And based on that, we were recommending to carry an additional allowance of about $5,000 to include deck replacement and some other incidentals where the gutters aren't bad in general. There's a couple places where they should be replaced while we're doing this work. So we could use that incidental $5,000 like a contingency to cover those kind of things. So we're recommending an award to their, based on their bid of about $365,770.
And I think 510 is what I read for the, ARPA money. That we could, well, we've actually earmarked it for this purpose. So that covers it and then some. Yeah, 510,826 is what we have in the ARPA fund. And, we already wrote to them that we'd be using it for roof replacement.
Mhm.
So, yeah, if you have any questions for Tom about the project, go ahead and ask him, and then we'll come back to this later on in the meeting.
All right, so you think the pricing was pretty, acceptable?
I do.
From your experience?
Yep. Having the second price to compare it to is a good thing,
Yeah.
and then they're still gonna have to go through the tips program doing the price check. That's part of their program.
Yeah. Okay,
Did you get a count? How many square that roof is, just off the top of your head? I don't know if that was.
Not sure if it was either.
I think at one point. we
Yeah, I
were
was looking
talking-
at a quote. Yeah, I have that number back when I did the quote, but I don't.
Yeah,
have it
I
handy
don't
right now.
remember what it was either, but we did have it at one point, but, it's a lot.
Yeah,
There's a lot.
it's a substantial.
And there's a lot of valleys and connected roofs, and things like that.
Oh,
to
yeah.
deal with.
Right.
Yeah, hips. Yeah.
Since last time we talked, did Bob trying to go out there and patch?
yeah, yes, a couple weeks ago.
I think that might have been after. Vincent walked it with me before the last one,
His focus was on the cupola, and that was it. That was
the
it.
patching. Okay, I hadn't seen that patching. but I'd seen the other patch that he was doing and it was still fucking something.
Yeah, last time I was down there, I see, strips of shingle valleys that just, blew off.
Yeah, every time we have a stiff wind come through here, there's more shingles lying on the ground.
I think it's still active leaking.
Well, I got a call from the constable last week that the senior center had puddle in it again. During one of those downpours we had. Okay, I guess covers your end of things here, Tom.
Thank you.
Yeah,
The only other
thank you.
thing I would have
Go ahead.
is just, I know we're supposed to put a library in there. Still considering modifications to that.
Well, I don't think we have a choice in doing this at this point. The roof is that far deteriorated. You just can't.
No, I know, I'm
Going any further.
We started shoring up the roof, going up the.
Yeah.
To the roof line a little bit, there's a plan to go
Well,
around.
We haven't seen an engineer's plan on that project yet, and I think you're gonna be surprised when we get to that point. At what they have to say about it. Any questions for Tom?
Nope.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Appreciate it. Thank you. Recreation Department, Maggie?
Right, so the first thing I want to say in reference to what Andrea already pointed out, I want to thank Stephen Towler, who was our instructor for the AARP Smart Driving course. Like Andrea said, he made the class both informative and pretty enjoyable. He and I are planning on staying in touch. We did get a lot of residents and non-residents reach out and ask if we would do another one because some people couldn't come to that morning class. So we're going to potentially do like an evening course after the summer is over, maybe like early fall, do like a Tuesday, Thursday, so it's all done in the same week for those of us who work really late or just can't get here during the morning. Once that is scheduled, we'll post it on our social media pages and the Parks and Recreation website. Looking forward to the end of the month on Friday, May 31st, we'll be hosting our second annual Music in the Park with 3 of the Arlington High School jazz ensembles. They'll be performing. Patrons can come to the park and enjoy an evening of jazz starting at 6 p.m. at the band shell. We ask that if you come, you bring chairs or blankets to sit on during the performance, and the Cluck Truck will be selling food at the event starting at 5:30. Any questions on that can be directed to my email, which is the recreation@unionbellny.us. Just wanted to give a reminder, we have a few seats left for our lifeguard certification and recertification course. Those are coming up quick. I think the first one is June 2nd. This course is taught by a certified American Red Cross instructor, so you will walk away with a certification that most pools, beaches accept. Seating is limited for these courses and registration can be found on our website. Other than that, we're just doing camp planning.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We have Parks Report. Councilman Welsh, would you like to read that, please?
Okay, the tenants will be moving in to number 11 this week and the house is ready for it. We have taken the cover off the pool and started cleaning it and preparing it for the pool season. Pool filter tank is installed and the plumbing run for it. We will be putting the filter media into it this week and get it running. When it isn't raining, we have continued mowing and clearing the trails of fallen trees. The bathroom at Godfrey Park will be open starting this weekend. We had to do a bit of work on the well pump, but it has been fixed. There was another leak in the senior room, interim library. We have cleaned it up and we have again attempted to better catch the water and mitigate damage.
And I do want to thank the Parks Department with that filter tank exchange.
Yeah, it was a big job.
That was a major project and they handled it well.
That's great. Yeah, it was nice they could do it in-house.
Councilman Carlema, you want to do the library report?
Yeah, no problem. Library report. Thank you for taking your time to share the updates from the library. I apologize we're unable to be here to provide this report in person. having a night event at school, and the other trustees had previous obligations. To take the end here and the latest updates from the library was spruced up a few weeks ago. The inside was painted and looks fabulous. For Mother's Day, our director Karen Foley did a lovely job decorating the library for the seniors on May 10th. You can see pictures on our Instagram page. The children's area is coming together. The rugs and stacking chairs have arrived. Furniture was ordered and will be arriving soon. Once it is received, we'll begin story times. A children's author will be coming to the library once the furniture is set up, in addition to reading their book to the children and offering a signed copy. We have begun the barcoding process of the donated books. Book collections are being cultured from our residents. In the meantime, if you're looking for any specific title, simply email the director@uvlibrary.org. Carpet tiles and shelving are next on our list to support our library's development. This will help prepare the space for patrons to easily access the books we have. Karen is working on getting a copier for the library for the patrons to have access to use. The Promethean board has been shipped and will be arriving soon. This is a presentation board that will be utilized for programming. We have connected with Dutchess County to plan for Narcan training for interested residents. Information will be emailed out once finalized. We have heard from several residents that would like a real library card. Those have been ordered, and a library card event will be held to help those get cards into the hands of our residents. To stay up to date with programming, sign up to receive our emails. There's a link on our website on the main page. Recently spoke to the Division of Library Development to answer a few questions they had regarding our charter. They anticipate having a decision in the coming weeks. We'll keep everyone posted. Thank you again.
Thank you. Councilman Derland, animal report, please.
During the month of April, there were no lost dogs, 2 found dogs who were later reunited with their owners, 1 complaint, 1 wildlife call, and 1 mutual aid call from New York State Police for a dog needing assistance outside our jurisdiction. Respectfully submitted, Mary Jean Couch.
Okay, thank you. Public comment on agenda items. Anyone?
Question on the library.
Just name and address, please, for the record.
Yes, Kevin Harrington. I live at 561 Chestnut Ridge Road. On the library report, I have a question. At the last meeting and in this report, our library manager has been referred to as library director. We do not have a library director. So I'd like to have that noted and have it changed and corrected in following reports.
Okay.
There are very specific requirements for a library director. One of which is 8 years of work, at least 2 administrative, upon receival of Master of Library Science. I don't believe that's the case with the person that we have. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Okay, thank you. The amendment to the procurement policy, I sent you my proposal and then put it into a form of a resolution here. Any discussion on that?
Yeah, I just had a couple of questions. I guess more for Jeff in regards to this. Does this amendment in any way affect how we would be in regards to General Municipal 103? Because our procurement policy currently says we have to follow General Municipal 103. And the amendment just states that we can piggyback or co-op purchase contracts with other municipalities. Says permit, New York State legislation passed, permit municipalities to piggyback or co-op purchase contracts of other municipalities. So my question is just, do we still need to follow General Municipal 103 for expenditures over 35,000?
Do have to follow that law, but some of these cooperative purchasing entities do that for you. I think TIPS has represented to us that they do that for you for those sorts of contracts.
There's, General Municipal has very specific wording on what needs to be included in those bids. You know,
But, and the point that David from Tips made last time is that they do that when they put these out to bid. They do them according to the specifications of the procurement policy. They've already done that work, which is how New York legislature decided to accept these.
I mean, I haven't seen anything from tips that has shown that they've done that. Did we get anything from tips that's shown the processes that have proved that they've gone in line with General List 103?
I've learned about this late this afternoon. I sent an email out to Tips to get confirmation of that. We saw at the last meeting numerous government agencies throughout New York State that have been using this. And if there had been a problem, I'm sure that there would have been a question raised about it then. I am waiting for confirmation. I would like to pass this tonight, and we can make it contingent on getting an affirmative response from Tips.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not just worried about tips, I'm worried about in general. We have in the language, cooperative
Well-
programs that doesn't specify anything that made sure the process of General Municipal 103 was followed. So we're opening ourselves up to,
No, the amendment states that it is, agencies that have been accepted by New York State or Dutchess County, and that's been our practice right up currently. That it's been our past practice, and it is currently. So these are agencies that have been approved by New York State. And as I mentioned, I will get verification that Tips is on that list. Specifically, but in this case, I've thought about this, put a lot of thought into this, that this is going to cover us. The New York State passed legislation on the law 5525C, chapter 308, allowing the municipalities to piggyback or co-op purchases against other municipality contracts.
Yeah, but
And those contracts have already met the requirements of New York State.
we're also gonna have conflicting language because in our procurement policy, it says anything over 35,000 needs to go to a formal bid process.
This is an amendment to that.
I know, but you say in one section, formal bid process pursuant to General Municipal 103. But then further on, the amendment you're inserting says that we can utilize purchasing groups. So.
In lieu of the public works bid, we may opt to, in lieu of the public works bid. It doesn't eliminate that step. It offers you an option.
I think that it's still opens
Sure.
up to issues.
I think those options exist. You are allowed to piggyback. That's specifically allowed under the state law. And for cooperative purchasing, the town still has to verify that the cooperative entity they're using meets the requirements of General Municipal Law, Section 3. I think the supervisor just said he's reached out for that sort of verification. I happened to contact on my own the Association of Towns this afternoon and just posed that question to their legal staff. I don't have an answer yet, but I'm trying to verify that through that source.
So I think my whole issue is in lieu of the public bid works, bid, as long as these cooperatives can prove that they followed the General Municipal 103 to get to that point. I think that's an important point we need to add into this amendment.
Well, I think that's understood by New York State approved purchasing cooperatives or bid lists, which means that they've gone through that process.
And Tips has to be able to provide that.
Or are we speaking about Tips or are we speaking about the amendment?
I'm talking about both because I mean,
I said that I have reached out to them to provide me documentation.
I would appreciate if you would stop interrupting me, please, while I'm in the middle of talking. I let you talk, so please don't interrupt me in the middle of talking. So that's
Well,
my,
you've had this for a week now, and I haven't heard a peep out of anybody, and now tonight we're having this debate. This could have been worked out prior to getting here tonight.
this is the whole point of a public meeting is to discuss this thing in open so that
Okay.
everybody in the public can hear it. No reason to discuss it behind the scenes so the public doesn't know what's going on.
Well, we have a motion, we have the amendment in front of us. I'd like to have a motion to approve it.
Motion.
Have a second, please?
I'll second.
Okay, roll call, vote, please.
Councilman Kern,
No,
Councilman Welch,
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier,
Yes.
Councilman McKinney,
Aye.
Councilman Derlin.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so that brings us now to the roofing contract. We've been all through this up and down. It's within our reach as far as the finances go. We'll have money left over and possibly be able to address something else. Councilman McGivney, you want to read the resolution, please? Here, I got it. Excuse me.
Town of Unionville Board Resolution number, I guess, whatever number,
24.
24 of 2024, authorizing roof repair at 8 Time War Road and authorizing the supervisor to execute all documents and take all actions reasonably necessary to complete the project. Whereas the town board, Town of Unionville has been concerned for some time about the condition of the roofs of all buildings in the Time War Park. And whereas the town board received a written report entitled Unionville Roof Report, March 2024, which detailed the conditions of each such roof and which included written summaries and extensive photography showing the extensive leaks and both exterior and interior damage caused by such leaks. And whereas the engineer for the town, Thomas Harvey, prepared a project summary dated April 2nd, 2024, entitled Townwide Capital Improvements, which included engineer's opinion of probable costs for various capital improvements, which specifically included the roof repair project for the building 8 Time War Park Road. Whereas project summary included description of the interlocal purchasing system TIPS, the National Purchasing Cooperative, and proposal submitted by Vanguard Roofing Management regarding the roof repair project for the building at 8 Time War Park Road. And whereas the town board received presentation at its meeting of April 17, 2024, by representatives of TIPS and a representative of Vanguard about what TIPS provides and about the proposal from Vanguard. And whereas the town board thereafter voted to have the town become a member of TIPS and authorize TIPS for its roof repair project, and the amended its procurement policy to authorize the use of cooperative purchasing. And whereas the town has ARPA funds on deposit, which must be used for defined purposes and of this roof repair project, and this roof repair project qualifies for the use of such funds. And whereas the town board, Town of Unionville, thus intends to proceed with this roof repair project and to the supervisor to execute all documents and take all actions reasonably necessary to authorize and complete said project. And whereas the town board hereby classifies this current action as a type 2 action for purposes of seeker pursuant to 22 NYCRR 617.5 C 1 and 2. So no environmental review is needed. Now therefore be resolved, the town board of the Town of Unionville hereby approves the project as a repair for building 8 Time War Park Road and authorizes the use of ARPA funds to pay the costs, including related administrative costs and be it further resolved, the town board of Town of Unionville hereby authorizes the supervisor to execute all documents and take all necessary actions to effectuate and complete the said project.
Get a second on that? I'll second it. Discussion? We can make this contingent on getting a positive response from tips.
Typically, we have the code enforcement issue building permits even for our own stuff. I'd like to see that is followed on this so that
Sure.
George can be part of he can be involved with it.
There's nothing here about a dollar amount. Are we gonna put a dollar amount in this so that we don't use all the ARPA funds, we use what we have appropriated for this? I know Tom Harvey had. had a
Yeah,
number.
it was, and I neglected to print the copy of it. It was 380.
I believe Tom said $365,770. He just.
Okay,
spoke earlier.
I didn't write it down.
I did.
And so then plus 5,000, correct?
For contingencies.
Right.
yes.
Did that include the contingency or no?
I thought he said that was all in.
No, that would be added on, Tony Green stuff.
I suggest we go a little higher than that.
Okay.
5,000 is gonna get us nowhere.
I'm okay with that. Because you don't know what you're gonna find underneath there.
5,000.
They're in,
She's a plywood.
yeah, well, he was actually, the contractor was actually comfortable with that number, but I'm not opposed to bumping that up, 10, 15, something like that.
Yeah.
Um,
You don't want it to come back. in.
Right, exactly. exactly. I don't know what the feeling the rest of the board is.
I prefer to go with the estimate myself.
Okay.
We can negotiate if.
We can, and there's likely to be a board meeting, once he finds, if he sees he's gonna be running short.
Yep.
I agree with you about it.
You're stripping and then you're gonna know what you got
Right,
right away,
absolutely.
so that
Yep.
could happen.
Is that something you could do on the fly where if he's tearing a group and he finds an issue, so you can address it? Have it Stop to get.
Yeah.
Well, he could appropriate the money to.
Well, yeah, that's
To
the
fix
reason
it.
that we
They're
would
getting the money
appropriate
for
it,
more
yeah.
shingles.
Otherwise, we gotta come back to the meeting and approve it.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to stop the project or something like that.
It may fall that we could have a meeting to do that, but it might not either. I don't think, it's not unwise to do that. It's commonplace to have that buffer in place for unknowns to come up. And you're talking about a building, I don't know, I'm thinking that it was built in the 30s or 40s.
Or earlier.
Yeah, so, there's no telling what they're gonna find once they start pulling things off. And we certainly can't leave it, no roof on it.
Absolutely not.
If we're at 365,770, why don't we, can I suggest we do 380? It's not-
I initially thought it was 380 and that was the number was sticking in my head.
It's
And
under
that still
5%.
leaves us,
Yeah, sees the 121.
yeah, something like that left over.
Under 5.
Yeah, it's about 130,000 left.
All right.
I just still want to put on the record that I have a problem awarding this, even with the contingency of general plus 103 being followed. I think we should wait and find out first, because if we have to go a different avenue.
Well, if we wait, we're not gonna get this done before summer camp starts.
I understand, but if we don't hear back from them.
Well, he's been very responsive. I anticipate having it tomorrow. Just, I didn't get it into him until close to 4:30 this evening.
So we're gonna add a contingency that we get the documentation that proves the general list law 103 was followed in the process, the tips process.
Well, they're gonna send me documentation that they were approved by New York State, which means they went through that.
The rest of 103,
Right.
law 103.
Well,
That's
I want to
right.
amend the resolution to add that.
Well, I'm gonna have to send another note to them that you're specifically looking for that information.
I mean, we have to get it. It's in our procurement policy, so we need to get.
We
that
just
information.
amended the procurement policy.
I understand. But we need to know that that was followed. So I think we need to amend the resolution.
You're making a lot of problems here that don't need to be. When they're New York approved, they've already met the requirements of that 103. If they're New York State approved, they've met those requirements.
You continue to say if, and I understand, you don't have.
So
proof.
the amendment said that we are only looking at New York State approved agencies.
Okay, so show me where they're approved. You're wanting us to award a resolution.
Well, I
That's-
just said that I asked them for that documentation, but now you want it to specifically say it matches that 103. Where if they've met the approval of New York State, they've gone through the
So-
process of that 103.
That's perfectly fine. So amend.
Well,
the
that wasn't what you
resolution.
said a minute ago.
Amend the resolution that they are an approved, like you said, approved, what is it exactly? Let me get the wording for it, so that everybody's on the same page. It was that they're approved with New York State, the state of New York has passed legislation for 5525C, chapter 308. That TIPS is approved under that legislation. Amend the resolution to have that language.
Second on the amendment?
I'll say.
All in favor on the amendment?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so I seconded the
The motion.
motion to approve the resolution as amended.
And we're adding
Hold on,
380.
And we need to also add. a note
And
with
yeah,
that
well, that was part of the amendment.
Contingency,
Yeah, that's part of the amendment.
All right, I think we need roll call, right?
Yes, yep.
Councilman Carpenter.
Well, we didn't second the amended.
The 380,
Yeah, it's the resolution.
I'll second the 380. 180K adding is the amount spent.
Oh, the other motion, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need a second on the amended resolution. Well, I'll second the amended resolution.
Okay.
So now roll call vote on the amended resolution.
Councilman
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier.
Aye.
Councilman McGivney,
Aye.
Councilman Derlin.
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
And they think they can do it before camp?
Yes, yeah, so
Really?
I'll call him tomorrow. And well, I will wait until I get the confirmation from Tips. And then call him immediately so he can get his materials ordered. And they'll get rolling. He said, we're right at the bitter edge, but he'll get it done before
All right.
camp starts.
Yeah, we had a lot of rain too, so.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
Hopefully, lights up.
Okay, last month we reviewed some quotes for portable toilet rentals. I did some math on these. They got to go with 2 units, 2 standard units and 1 handicap unit comes in at 4,500 annual. The reliable for the same comes in at 4225, and then the Sika seat comes in at 3780. There's a difference of 445 between the first and second ones, annual cost. I don't have an issue with using the lower cost for the remainder of this year. And going forward, we'll put out an RFP for next year.
And I have a question, all those companies would be cleaning at the same scheduled rate that we had before?
Yeah, they were all weekly cleanings.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll make a motion to award this for the rest of the year to Sika.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thanks for getting that information.
Okay, I learned here that number 2, Timor, we have an alarm system installed, but it's not being monitored or serviced.
What do you mean by not being monitored? Because I've got automatic fire alarm calls there many times.
Recently,
911. Well, not since the the boys moved out. The new tenant, I think, is more.
well, from what I was told, Doyle is not under contract with the new system.
Oh, they're not.
No, so, I mean, to me, it makes sense to have the same
Yeah. okay,
vendor
yeah.
doing all of our
That would
alarm.
be a loophole. Glad you found that.
Yeah, so, I don't think we need to have a motion, or a motion to do it. We certainly don't have to have a resolution.
Okay,
But yeah, entertain a motion to
I'll make a motion.
put number
That's
2 on
a good
their
idea.
service list.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
All right.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. HVAC duct cleaning, I think I sent a memo out to you. It's typical to clean your AC ducts biannually. I don't think this place has ever been done. There's some concern here among some of our employees
Yeah.
I got one quote. The second quote didn't come in time for the meeting, so I'll bring that back to the next meeting.
Okay.
But,
Do
yeah, I
you
think
really
it's,
need us to approve something that basic?
What's the
it's-
range, you think?
well, I'm expecting it to be under $1,000, so. Or no, wait a minute. That may have been per
Air handler?
section. And I think we have three, so I think it was in the area of 3,000. But I think it's, it's within our limits here that we can go forward with it, but I mean, it's only 2 weeks. It's not gonna hurt anything. I can bring the information back.
Yeah.
To the
Right.
next meeting.
Yeah, it's a good thing to get done.
Especially if it's never done.
Right.
Yeah. 30 years.
Depends where the filters are.
I spoke with the fire district about that vacant property up on Pleasant Ridge Road, and they are interested in having that, transferred to them. They sent us a letter to that effect.
Yeah.
I would like to have our attorney and their attorney start drawing paperwork up for that, if everyone's in agreement, or if you want to have a discussion about it.
What's the theory behind that?
I'm sorry?
What's the theory behind that?
Satellite station or the fire district up there perhaps sometime in the future. It takes us off our hands then as a liability as well. The property was donated to us from the developer because he couldn't sell it.
Right.
It's not a desirable piece of property to build on. And he gave it to us, so he didn't have to continue paying taxes. I am concerned about the liability it poses to the town here. Any trees that fall from that property onto an adjacent landowners are our responsibility to clean up. And that can get
Is that
costly.
true, Jeff?
And again, the.
If any trees fall on adjacent property, we have to pay to clean them up?
The answer to that, but I assume that would be correct.
I would just typically is what I end up doing. In Wappinger. Wappinger has thousands of acres of what they call conservation property. I continuously chasing trees there. I just don't want to send that situation up here.
Mhm.
So I mean, I think it's good for everybody concerned. They'd have better fire coverage up there if they do go forward with a satellite station.
Yeah.
And we're just,
Is that for like ambulance or for?
They may decide to house both up there. I don't know what their intentions are, but they did mention, a satellite station.
are we talking about just giving it to the fire?
I don't have an issue with that. I mean, it's taxpayers' money regardless.
It's owned by the residents already.
Yeah,
That's what I was just.
This is test for ownership.
right. It's just, we'd be taking taxes from them and giving them to us. So
That's what I-
it's just kind of a wash.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Any feelings on this or?
I think it's just something that we should all think about.
Well,
I think
again,
it's all-
I've been mentioning this for several months now.
Yeah, I think I haven't been, so I know you mentioned it and then you said maybe the fire department, now we actually have something that.
Well, when we
Actually,
accepted, the intent was to use it for some municipal activity, which was include this. So we have no plans for highway garage. Right?
Right.
I don't think it hurts to have them start discussing it.
Well, I'm gonna make a motion. We put it in the hands of the attorneys.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Roll call vote, please.
Aye.
Supervisor Frazier,
Aye.
Councilman Gibney,
Aye.
Councilman Durham.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Public comment on town issues. Hey. Motion to pay the bills, please.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried, thank you. Our next meeting will be June 5th here at 7:30. And I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Thank you, everybody.